You ever had one of those neighbors who thinks they own the entire block? The type who walks around with a clipboard acting like the neighborhood sheriff? Well, mine tried to have my car towed. So, I bought the parking lot. But let me back up. It all began on a sunny Tuesday morning. I was sipping coffee by my window when I spotted her, Karen, our self-appointed HOA queen. Technically, she was the HOA president, but in reality, she was more like a dictator with too much free time and way too much energy for ruining people's lives. Karen didn't just enforce HOA rules, she invented them. From telling people their trash cans were too close to the curb to measuring blades of grass in people's lawns, she thrived on control. If you so much as left a garden gnome outside, Karen would appear with a warning letter faster than you could blink. And now, she had a new obsession: cars. I'll be honest, my car wasn't a showroom model, just an old sedan with a few scratches and a dent on the bumper. But it worked, it was paid off, and it got me to work on time. To me, that's what mattered. But to Karen, that dent meant my car was an unsightly violation of community standards. When I walked out that morning, I found a neon yellow slip slapped on my windshield. Notice of violation. Vehicle does not meet HOA standards. Must be removed or repaired within 7 days. $100 fine will be applied. I almost laughed. A scratch? A fine? But when I looked around the lot, I realized I wasn't the only one. Nearly every car had one of those ridiculous slips. The neighbor's pickup, a family's minivan, even a Jeep that looked perfectly fine to me. Karen wasn't just targeting me, she was coming after everyone. That evening, we had an emergency HOA meeting. I should have known it was bad the moment I saw Karen walk in. She strutted to the front of the clubhouse like a queen addressing her subjects, clutching her clipboard like it was a royal decree. Her voice was sharp, smug, and way too loud. Effective immediately, the HOA will be enforcing strict parking standards. Any vehicle deemed unsightly, improperly parked, or not up to neighborhood guidelines will be subject to towing at the owner's expense. The room exploded. People were furious. Hands shot up. Voices shouted questions. "Who decides what's unsightly?" someone yelled. Karen just smiled. A cold, tight smile. "I do," she said. That's when I knew we were in for a war. From that day on, Karen patrolled the lot like it was her personal kingdom. Morning and night, she'd snap pictures of cars, write down license plates, and plaster threats on windshields. It was harassment disguised as enforcement. A week later, I came home from work to find an orange sticker slapped across my window. Final warning, next offense equals tow. My stomach sank. My car wasn't fancy, but it was mine. I couldn't afford to get it towed. That night, a few neighbors gathered in my living room to vent. Everyone had a story. One guy said Karen threatened to fine him for having his Christmas lights up until January 3rd. Another family said their kids' bicycles created visual clutter. We all agreed Karen had gone too far, but what could we do? She twisted the HOA bylaws to suit her, and nobody wanted to spend thousands fighting her in court. That's when I remembered something. The parking lot. You see, our HOA wasn't as powerful as Karen pretended. They managed the landscaping, the pool, the community signs, but the actual lot behind our townhomes, that land wasn't technically HOA owned. Years back, it had been sold off separately. The HOA just acted like they controlled it because no one bothered to check. That night, curiosity kept me awake. I pulled up the county property records, and there it was, the lot was still privately owned. Even crazier, it was listed for sale, and the asking price was shockingly affordable. My pulse quickened. I dug deeper, double-checking deeds, parcel numbers, ownership history. The more I researched, the clearer it became the HOA had zero legal authority over that parking lot. And if I bought it, every car Karen was threatening to tow would suddenly be parked on my property. Meanwhile, Karen's crusade escalated. That weekend, I heard the rumble of a tow truck in the distance. I stepped outside to see her pointing wildly at a neighbor's car. "This one! Tow it!" she barked. The driver hesitated. "Ma'am, it looks fine to me." Karen snapped. I don't care how it looks. It's a violation. Hook it up. I clenched my fists. Enough was enough. The next day, I made my move. I signed the papers. The parking lot was mine, and Karen had no idea what storm was about to hit her. When I walked out of the county clerk's office with the deed in my hand, I couldn't stop grinning. For weeks, Karen had strutted around like she owned the place. Now, I actually owned the one thing she was using to terrorize everyone. But I didn't announce it right away. No, I wanted her to trip over her own arrogance first. So I parked my car in the same spot she had threatened to tow. I wanted to see how far she'd go. Sure enough, 2 days later, the growl of a tow truck engine woke me up. I stepped outside, coffee in hand, just in time to see Karen directing the driver toward my car, like a queen ordering an execution. "This one," she barked. "Tow it immediately." The driver scratched his head. "It doesn't look abandoned. You sure?" Karen jabbed at the bright orange sticker still plastered to my window. "It's an HOA violation. Doesn't matter what it looks like." That's when I strolled over, calm as could be. "Good morning," I said, pulling a folded document from my pocket. "Before you hook anything up, you should see this." The driver took the paper and scanned it. It wasn't the deed itself, just a property map with my name clearly listed as the new owner. "This lot," I said, tapping the map, "it's private property, my property. She doesn't control it. If you tow my car, you're trespassing on my land, and trust me, you'll be in court faster than that truck can leave the lot." The driver's eyebrows shot up. He handed the paper back and muttered, "Not worth it, lady," before climbing into his truck and driving off. Karen spun toward me, her face red with fury. "You think you're clever, don't you?" she hissed. "This isn't over." I smiled. "No, Karen, it's just beginning." That night, I printed copies of the deed and slipped them under every door in the community. Along with it, I wrote a simple letter. "Dear neighbors, the parking lot is under new ownership. Mine. The HOA has no authority to ticket, fine, or tow vehicles here. Your cars are safe. If you've been fined or threatened, keep your records. Change is coming. Your friendly parking lot owner." By morning, my phone was buzzing with texts. People thanked me, some asked if it was real, others offered to chip in for repairs. For the first time in ages, the neighborhood felt hopeful. And Karen? She went ballistic. Within hours, she blasted out one of her infamous HOA newsletters, 4 pages long in Comic Sans, filled with red text about fraudulent ownership and illegal interference with HOA business. She called an emergency meeting that evening. Perfect. The clubhouse was packed. Usually, only a handful of residents showed up, but this time, nearly everyone came. Karen marched in like a general ready for battle, clutching her clipboard. She pointed straight at me. "This man is lying to you. He's trying to undermine the HOA with fake paperwork. Don't fall for it." I didn't flinch. I calmly walked up and placed a neat stack of documents on the front table. "These," I said, "are certified records from the county. They prove the HOA never owned this lot. It was always private, and last week I bought it." Gasps rippled through the room. People leaned forward, passing the papers around, scanning the stamps and signatures. One neighbor raised his hand. "So the HOA can't fine us for parking anymore?" "That's right," I said. "Karen's been overstepping for years, and if you've paid money because of her threats, you might be entitled to get it back." The retired veteran slammed his fist on the table. "I want my $300 back." The single mom whose car had been towed added, "She cost me rent money. I want it back too." The room erupted. Voices overlapped, demanding refunds, demanding change. Karen tried to scream over them. "Don't listen to him. He's manipulating you. The HOA." But for the first time, no one listened. In the weeks that followed, I solidified my win. I repainted the faded parking lines, fixed the lights, and put up a big shiny sign at the entrance. "Private property, managed by my name, Unauthorized HOA interference prohibited. Neighbors parked proudly again. Old trucks, dented sedans, family vans, all free from harassment. The lot became more than just a place to park. It was a symbol, proof that Karen wasn't invincible. And the best part? Karen's empire was crumbling. Her letters stopped working. People ignored her threats. Residents who once kept their heads down were now openly challenging her. But Karen wasn't done. Power-hungry people never go quietly. And the stunt she pulled next, that is when the real war began.
Karen couldn't stand losing control. With the parking lot out of her grasp and the neighborhood rallying against her, she was desperate. And desperate people do reckless things. One Saturday morning, I heard it again, the low rumble of a tow truck. My heart sank. Could she really be trying this again? I walked outside, and sure enough, there she was. Karen stood in the lot, red-faced and wild-eyed, pointing at a neighbor's minivan. The driver looked confused as she shoved papers at him, insisting she had authority. That's when I hit record on my phone. I walked straight over. Karen, you've been warned. This lot is private property. You're trespassing, and if this tow truck so much as touches that car, it's going to be in court. The driver paused, uneasy. Lady, you didn't tell me this wasn't HOA land. Karen shrieked, Don't listen to him! I'm the HOA president, and I say tow it! I held up my phone, the camera rolling. Say that again, Karen. Go on. Tell the whole internet how you're ordering an illegal tow on property you don't own. Her face went pale. The driver cursed under his breath, yanked the lever back, and drove off. Karen spun toward me, her voice trembling with rage. You think this makes you the hero? You're destroying this community. I smirked. No, Karen, I'm saving it from you. That video, I sent it straight to the neighbors. By the end of the day, half the community had seen it. People were furious. Not just annoyed, not just tired, furious. At the next HOA meeting, the room felt different, stronger, united. I stood up and placed a stack of papers on the table. Neighbors, these are refund claim templates. If Karen fined you illegally or had your car towed, you can demand your money back. Together, we can hold her accountable. The retired veteran raised his hand. I'm in. The single mom nodded. Me too. Dozens followed. Karen tried to shout over the room, her voice cracking. This is mob rule. You're manipulating you. I'm still your president. But this time, the crowd didn't cower. They shouted back. We want our money. You lied to us. You're done, Karen. The HOA board, usually Karen's loyal puppets, looked terrified. They couldn't side with her anymore without going down with her. And then it happened. A motion was raised to remove Karen as HOA president. The vote? Overwhelming, nearly unanimous. Karen was out. She stormed out of the clubhouse, papers flying from her clipboard, muttering about lawyers and conspiracies. But the truth was clear. Her reign was finished. From that day on, the neighborhood changed. People smiled again. Kids played outside without parents worrying about violations. Cars lined the lot freely, no longer under the threat of Karen's stickers or towing orders. And me? I kept the parking lot well-maintained, fair, and free of harassment. A couple neighbors even joked about putting up a little plaque. This lot is dedicated to Karen. Thanks for making it possible. Sometimes I think back to that first yellow slip on my windshield. At the time, it felt like a petty annoyance. I never imagined it would turn into a full-blown neighborhood war. But, in the end, Karen's greed and power trip were her downfall. She tried to tow my car, so I bought the parking lot. And I'll be honest, watching her lose everything she clung to was the sweetest revenge I've ever tasted.